Hello dear students, in this video I am going to explain the poem Is Poetry Always Worthy When It Is Old? And this poem is composed by Kalidas, Bhavabhuti and Bhartrihari. In our previous video we have discussed about who are the authors and what is the theme of this poem. Now let's start the poem's explanation. The text is on your screen and the starting first stanza is composed by Kalidas. The opening lines of this stanza is poetry always worthy when it is old, and is it worthless then because it's new? In these opening lines, Kalidas want to ask that is poetry contrast the value of time as a filtering device. So he wants to ask the reader that if poetry get worthier with the passing of time, and that's why he is asking that is poetry always worthy when it is old, that if time passes and if a poetry gets old in a chronicle state, is it always worthy? It is always become worthy. And in the next stanza he is asking the position question, and he is saying that and is it worthless then because it is new? And then he is asking that if any poetry is new, if any poetry is chronically in the present state, then it becomes worthless. Is it becomes worthless, he is asking. And in the third line he is saying that reader decide yourself if this be true. And in the third line he is directly getting in touch with the reader, and he is communicating that reader, you should decide yourself if this be true, that if the above two questions are true. And he is saying that fools suspend judgment waiting to be told. And in the answer of these two questions, Kalidas thinks that I think that if the answer is not given currently by the reader, that means he is fool, because fools, he is saying about the fool people, and he is saying that fools suspend judgment waiting to be told, that only the fools cannot specify the response of these two questions. And in this stanza he is directly contrasting the value of time as a filtering device to the worth conferred on a poem by one reader who appreciates it and recognizes it as worthwhile. So this is the summary of first stanza. And the second stanza, that is composed by Bhavabhuti. The second stanza, opening lines of the second stanza is, if learned critics publicly deride my verse, well, let them. The first line of this stanza is neutral, is showing the neutral mood, and the poet is saying that if learned critics publicly make fun, deride means make fun. So these are very simple vocabulary here, it is used very simple vocabulary, and the poet is saying that if learned critics publicly make fun of my verse, I don't have any impact, and he is allowing the critics to do so. So that's why he is saying, well, let them. Not for them I wrote. Why he doesn't have any impact of the critics who publicly make fun of his verses? Because he is saying that not for them I wrote. I am not writing for them, because one day a man shall live to share my thought. For time is endless and the word is wide. So these two lines are very optimistic according to the poet, and he is hoping, he is making a very futuristic imagination, and he is saying that one day, I am sure one day some man will live to share my thought. And what how will this happen? Because for time is endless and the word is wide. So that is the essence of second stanza. In the second stanza, he is speaking about the effect reader and effect. The third stanza start with these lines: of what use is the poet's poem? Of what use is the bowman's dart? Here is the simile between two circumstances. In the first line, the poet is saying that, first line of the third stanza, the poet is saying that of what use is the poet's poem? Means that the poet is asking that of what use is the poet's poem, of what use is the bowman's dart? Dart means gaff, means barchi or bhala we can say, and bowman means the archer. And he is saying that what is the use of an archer's dart, archer's gaff, unless another's sense is real when it sticks quivering in the heart. So, in this stanza, he is speaking of the effect that a poem should have on the reader, an effect comparable. Here, the poet is doing comparison to what happens to someone when pierced by a dart, when pierced by a gaff. So, he is saying that unless another's senses coiled, another's senses shook, directly quivering the heart, there is no use of poet's poem. So basically, the effect that is produced by a poem to a reader's heart is very necessary, is very essential according to Bhartrihari. And that's why this selection is an astute and cynical observation of the ways in which critics react to poetry. The fourth stanza is related to the reaction of poetry by critics. So fourth stanza is basically written for the critics. And in the fourth stanza, the opening lines are: scoundrels without the wit to fit a word or two of verse together are daunted not a whit to sit in judgment on the abstruse poetry of another. Here, scoundrels means rascals or rogue, and daunted here means subdue or tame. Wit means crumb or granule, means a very small particle. Wit means very small particle, and abstruse means unintelligible and obscure. So in this stanza, the poet is criticizing the work of critics, and he is saying that the way in which critics react to poetry, especially if it is incomprehensible to them, their rejection of the work of those whom they cannot hope to match, let alone better. So in this stanza, he is saying that scoundrels here is used for here refers to the critics who don't have any knowledge of poetry. That's why he is saying scoundrels without the wit, means they don't have any intelligence to fit a word or two of words together. They don't have the wit, they don't have the intelligence to fit two verses, are daunted not a whit to sit, and they are tamed, and they don't have any intelligence to absorb the granule, absorb the or to understand or to comprehend the granule or the small particle amount of poetry, but they do criticism, and they don't have any intelligence, they don't have any wit in judgment on the abstruse poetry of another, and they judge the unintelligible part of another poets. Such man will listen with attentive mind. Now he is characterizing the critics. He is telling us the characterization, the characteristics of these scoundrel critics. He is saying that such man will listen with attentive mind, alert to see how many faults they find. That is the basic nature of these types of critic, that they try to find out the fault in another poetry. And if they are vexed, means if they are perplexed, if they are unable to find any fault, because they fail to grasp the sense, because they are not very successful to understand the sense of the work, they naturally do not blame their foolishness. If they don't comprehend any work of art or any creative work or any poetry, rather blaming themselves for their foolishness, they do blame the poet, they do blame the another poet. Same as there in the last line of the stanza, there is a very famous line, and the poet is saying, a girl who is less than perfect, and he is comparing the situation to a girl who is less than perfect, always blames the dress. And here is also an proverb in Hindi literature, that naach na jane aangan tedha, that is the essence of this stanza, that the poet is conveying a message that if the critic don't able to comprehend another's work, they try to get fault, they try to find fault in another's work, and if they fail to do this, they, rather blaming their own foolishness, they do blame the poet for writing obscure poetry. So that is it in the today's video. In the next video we will discuss the 5th and 6th stanza of this poem composed by Bhartrihari. That's all today.